Welcome to the Circle of Love and Light. I'm Dr. Jane Mountrose, your host. I'm a holistic life coach, healer, minister, and founder of Awakenings Institute. And it's a nonprofit organization devoted to creating a more loving world. So today, I'm delighted to be joined by my wonderful co-host, Phoenixx. She's a spiritual healer and teacher, and our special guest, John Fiore, who is a spiritual counselor. So we have a lot of being here to present. Our topic today is releasing resistance and opening to gratitude. It's a really important topic, and with Thanksgiving coming up in the United States, we're also combining that with our goal of lighting up the world with love. So I'm sure we'll have a lively discussion. I also want to mention as we start that everyone is welcome here in the circle. And if you can, wherever you join us, please like our page. And also be sure to tell us in the comments where you're from and add your insights. We appreciate hearing from you. As we begin, I also want to pause for a moment to invite the beings of light who surround us so lovingly in the higher realms to support us and bless our circle with love and light as we open to the love we hold in our hearts, and to take this love and light into the depths of our being. So let's just slow down for a moment to breathe, just breathing more love and light into our beings as we inhale, and release anything that is not love as we exhale. This time is for you to let go, to relax, and fill yourself with overflowing with love and light that we can share and radiate out as points of light to transform the world. So with that, I want to just ask Phoenixx and John if you want to add anything to this blessing to start.
I think for me, that feels complete.
Wonderful. How about you, John?
Yeah, well, we can set an intention for. I love especially shooting from the hip as people set an intention for the information that is going to be most useful to the planet to come through spirit, through all of us in this show.
Wonderful. Thank you. And with that, to start the discussion, I want to start with you, John, and ask you about your experience with the power of gratitude, and also with having overcome resistance, which many of us have to do to really feel genuinely grateful.
Gratitude. Oh boy. Jane Phoenixx, I've learned as a child about gratitude. Of course, in a different way. It was sort of like I was raised a Catholic boy, and I could always remember my grandparents and my parents. We were business people. We had a food business in the city, in Jersey City, New Jersey, close to New York City for everybody. And the general attitude of my grandparents, my father, my mother was always, I kept hearing them say, thank God, thank God. We had good business. We worked very hard, but there was always that gratefulness in our household about abundance, that we were so blessed. We worked very hard for it, but I know a lot of people that work hard and don't get anywhere. Perhaps if they're focusing on misery, I don't know. I don't want to even speak about that. I want to speak to gratitude, and I'm going to tell you that we were pretty much unconsciously grateful. Thank God was a saying.
Right, you just say it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that I've learned how to practice gratitude in a conscious way, it is so much more powerful.
Right.
It is one of the three highest vibrations. Love, joy, and gratitude, the three highest vibrations. Our highest energy. For those who don't understand vibration,
Right.
We
It's
can
like
call-
the thing that I just interject quickly. It's aliveness. When we're in those states, you can tell that they're the best vibrations because they make you feel most alive.
They feel good inside,
Right.
yes. And gratitude, of all three, Jane, is the vibration or the energy of choice. It really comes down to a choice. We can, in anything in our lives, we can choose to be negative, or we could choose to be grateful for the things that we have. We can always find in our awareness, I believe, something to be grateful for as opposed to the opposite. And I could tell you that focusing on things to be grateful for is scientifically proven.
Right.
You know what, Jane, Phoenixx, we can have a show on this alone, but I looked it up because I wanted to get into the physiology of gratitude for a brief moment. And I found that gratitude literally rewires the brain to be happier. Okay. I think a lot of people know that, but if you didn't know it, it actually does. Gratitude,
Well, it's good to know those things.
Gratitude activates the hypothalamus with downstream effects on metabolism, stress, and various behaviors. So I want everybody to know, when you choose to be grateful for whatever you can be, you're sending positive signals to the rest of your body. Everything works better.
Right.
Your breathing, your metabolism, everything works better. Your body heals faster. Okay. And it's just a very wise thing to do. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
As opposed to looking at the miserable side of things. Oh, I got to work. Oh, well, thank God you get the chance to work. So, I mean, that's the way I like to look at it. But what I really wanted to focus on was, I've noticed in my practice, Jane, Phoenixx, a lot of people in what I call resistance. And resistance, for people who don't really understand what resistance is, I like to say it's not expressing real truth. Okay. When you are not expressing real truth and you're holding that in and not wanting to say it or to feel it, you're in resistance. And if anybody studies the law of attraction or the universal law, what you resist will grow into something bigger.
Right.
So I would notice that, look, we all like to practice gratitude, but I noticed that there were a lot of people stuck in resistance. And I'm saying, okay, I see you're having a little difficulty being grateful about that, and that's okay. What's on your mind? What are you really feeling? Well, I'm feeling so angry. And there is my segue into acceptance of what you're feeling, self-compassion. Anytime you're stuck in an emotion that you cannot feel genuine gratitude, okay, the easiest thing to do is to use self-compassion awareness. Say, wait a minute. In this moment, I don't feel very grateful. I mean, there are some, in the human experience, we have some tough contrast to go through, some tough darkness. I myself suffered 2 strokes. And I can tell you, while
You weren't grateful.
when I was in the middle of that, Jane, I wasn't very grateful.
Right. Yeah. And there are challenges.
I was scared as heck. And I know I was judging myself a lot for putting myself in a bad situation health-wise.
Right.
So what I had to do, Phoenixx, Jane, was to release all of that self-judgment. And, you know, I went from a wheelchair to jogging within months.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
Like the
almost a miracle from
the body,
the way I understand it.
yes, it was, because I kept showing myself compassion in the moment with that, whatever I was feeling. And you know what? I just kept using EFT
Right.
and this awareness of self-compassion before anything, and it brought me into a grateful state. So
Right. Yeah,
many
that's good.
times we get stuck and we're not understanding something.
Right.
We're in the mud,
Yeah.
as we like to say in class.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And I'd like to give Phoenixx a chance also
yes, please.
to share how gratitude fits into your vision of life.
Thank you so much, John, for sharing that.
Welcome.
And I just like before I lose the train of thought, to ask John, I guess after I answer, what does that self-compassion look like? So I just wanted to say that before I forgot.
We can
What
come
is-
back to that.
Yes.
Okay.
So with regards to what gratitude, and I was having this conversation with my partner, Kevin, last night, that gratitude, it's like a carrier oil. In aromatherapy, I believe there are carrier oils that
Right.
they would use with the main oil to deliver it to where it needs to be delivered to. And I love thinking of gratitude as a carrier oil because it just amplifies everything.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
That's great awareness. I love that. I love that. You see, it's up to us to take gratitude and use it however it works for you.
Correct.
Right. As a carrier oil, that makes
Yes.
a lot of sense.
You know what? That's beautiful, Phoenixx.
Yeah.
And I would encourage people to take gratitude. What can you be grateful for? And this is the part of gratitude I feel people miss the most, is gratitude of self. Gratitude of self. How do I get through a rough experience? How do I get through a rough day? How do I get through a tough illness? I'm grateful that I'm so strong and willing and resilient, and positive talk like that. I'm grateful for it's self-appreciation. And I want everybody to know that self-appreciation is the highest form of gratitude. Self-gratitude, self-appreciation is the highest form of gratitude. Everybody has probably heard, God wants you to love yourself. Well, self-love and gratitude is the highest form of that. And so I'll answer Phoenixx's question about how does self-compassion look. Well, Phoenixx, that is probably the crux of everything I'm going to speak about. I studied with Philip and Jane, and I studied deep in EFT. And here we are with tapping. Even though I'm feeling sad, I still love and accept myself. And I'm saying, okay, we keep going through this gyration, and no matter what you're feeling, there was never any judgment in what you're feeling. Even though I'm feeling this, that's what's true for me right now. Acceptance. Okay. And so I'm saying, we're tapping, and I'm saying, my clients are getting a benefit, but I don't know if they're really understanding what they're doing there. Okay. With this acceptance. Okay. By accepting that something is true in the moment, Jane, I like to say you're trusting in the creator, that you can tell the creator anything without being judged.
Right.
Okay? There is
on a spiritual level, also, if you look at holistically the model of physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, the spiritual level is the deepest. And what it essentially is our perspective on ourselves. And I think the whole spiritual journey, to me, and there are obviously a lot of different aspects to it, but it is a transformation of our perspective on who we are, and of course why we're here, and the whole meaning of life. But I think you're right. The foundation is about who we perceive ourselves to be. And I want to take just a moment to welcome Rosalind Good Vibes, who said good evening to us, and Carol Ann Allen is also here. So welcome to both of you, and thank you for wishing us a good evening. And so Phoenixx, any more thoughts from you?
Gratitude is such a dominant part of my experience. And just earlier today, I was having a conversation with Kevin about his discomfort with how much I say that I'm grateful and I'm thankful and I'm appreciative for everything. And I guess he was sharing that because it was uncommon for him in his household while growing up to hear that I'm grateful that you cooked for me, or I'm grateful that you washed my clothes. And the things that we generally expect being a part of a partnership. But I was also sharing with him that it's twofold, because when we express our gratitude for others, it's a vibration that is rippled out to them. It's energy that we are sending their way. And it's also energy that we are building in our beings as well. So it's a two-way street. Mm-hmm. And it's understandable that for a large number of humans, that our conditioning did not allow mostly for us to delve into the energy and the beauty of gratitude, because even in our most challenging moments, it's really the conditioning that we then see those challenging moments as something negative, when really and truly we are a part of the Divine Mother and Father, and therefore there is nothing that happens that is not for our best and our highest good. But of course, the program that we have subscribed to would then instruct us that this is not for our highest and our best good. So then the journey is to deprogram and come back to what truth is. And Jane shared this. What truth is, that everything is for my highest and my best good. And even the most uncomfortable and unpleasant experience, which we all would have, being informed that this too, if I allow myself to look at it, this too can potentially benefit me. And yes, it requires us to kind of clean our lens a bit and sometimes look really, really, really close. Even in that, there is just so much beauty, because then the entire situation transforms before your very eyes when you apply gratitude. And it's a practice. It is not something that will just happen overnight, as I'm sure John will expound on based on his experience, but it is one that is going to continuously cause more and more expansion within our experience.
Right. And I think looking at obstacles also, that to realize that if we weren't challenged, we wouldn't grow. Exactly. I think that we have, as you both know, we have a saying that obstacles are opportunities.
Yes.
And to look at the opportunity within each obstacle. And you can even be grateful for the blessings that are going to come from it, even if you don't know what they are yet. Because they see, I'm so grateful for this opportunity to expand and experience blessings that I couldn't even imagine right now.
Yes. Yeah.
Because then you'll overcome the obstacle probably more easily, and that's another benefit, personal benefit for each of us, because we have a choice, really, if we want to resist the challenges we're facing and mourn our fate, or if we want to accept them as opportunities and find out what that opportunity really is.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, Phoenixx, you spoke about, and this is true, folks, for everybody that doesn't, or anybody that doesn't understand. On the highest level, everything happens for you. Okay. And here is the part about self-compassion. When you're in the middle of something and you say, and you feel, how could this possibly be happening for me? I'm getting my butt kicked. Okay. That
bark from down below when you said that.
That's what I really want to address. I found myself, anytime I find myself stuck, most times a smile will come to my face because I know it's happening for me. And I'd like everybody to know that's the end result of practicing gratitude.
Yes.
As Phoenixx said.
Right.
However, if you're stuck and you can't find yourself feeling grateful in the moment, like this is happening for me, how could this happen for me? If you're stuck in that moment, that is the time to use self-compassion. Because if you don't recognize the truth of what's going on and you bypass this and you don't process really what's going on.
We got 2 hearts for that one.
It's going to come back and blow up into something bigger. So you've heard the term spiritual bypassing. And I would see kids in the spiritual community being stuck. And when I would have a session with them, I'm saying, what's going on? Well, I feel that I have to be grateful all the time. I said, yeah, well, listen, gratitude it's great to be grateful. However, if you cannot feel gratitude in the moment, how do you feel in this very moment? And explaining to them what EFT was doing, Jane, Phoenixx, was where I kind of rolled with this. Saying, wait a minute. You're allowed to tell your compassionate truth with tapping and any of these holistic practices that we do without fear of judgment, without fear that any source or benevolent universe is going to judge you for doing that. If you truly feel anger in the moment and you're all pent up full of anger and you can't feel grateful, you could stop without, you don't even have to tap. You could say, you know what, God, I feel angry in this moment, and that's just how I feel. And I want to tell everybody that simple awareness of truth is what releases that. And then all of a
It's
sudden,
a starting point.
it's a starting point, Jane.
Right.
It's the foundation of all of this. So I see a lot of people bypassing how they truly feel because they feel like, I got to feel grateful. I got to feel grateful. I'm telling you, to this day, mastering this, I still have times where I'm saying, I don't even know what I'm feeling right now, but I'm just so confused. And I release it. And I tell everybody, you could use the EFT setup statement as a reminder. Okay.
If you know EFT.
If you know
Some
EFT.
people here may not know it, but
that's right.
Right. And we are going to, by the way, we are going to do a process in a few minutes here too.
Very good.
That anybody can do. And EFT you can do too. It's just a matter of learning it. It's simple.
Yeah, it's really about what EFT has taught me, and I believe is teaching everyone that you can speak your compassionate truth, no matter what it is, without being judged. You're not going to be judged. And when you do that, you're releasing what that resistance is. If in the moment you feel totally abandoned, that's what you're saying. And in an EFT, right now, I'm feeling like God abandoned me. That's just how I feel. And notice I went right after God. If I feel that God abandoned me, I'm telling people that they hold on to so much guilt, resistance. They judge themselves in so many ways. And to release all of that stuff brings you to this state of grace and gratitude. Okay. And then it's easier to walk down the street. I have an exercise I like to give my clients. I say, imagine walking down Fifth Avenue in New York City. It's nothing but buildings, cars, noise, confusion. And I want you to see God in whatever you can give me. And we do a visualization. Well, what are you seeing? I'm seeing this building. I said, okay, what do you see how do you see God in that building? And what I try to help them to be aware of is, it took an architect, Jane, you were an architect, right? It took an architect some brilliant knowledge of what they learned to create the drawings for such a magnificent building. And that is all the work of spirit, God, okay? Let's go really back to the source of everything. Everything is from God, okay? You could walk around the lake and see God, and you could walk down Fifth Avenue in New York City and see God. It's that awareness of being grateful for all things on this planet. So, I mean, we could talk about this all week.
Right. And I want to mention,
something?
I just want to mention that Kevin Fortune has joined us, and Carol Ann Island said, sometimes I do not feel grateful for something I'm experiencing. However, I can find compassion for myself in that moment, which then leads me to gratitude. So she's agreeing with John. And Kevin said, so well said, Carol Ann. And it is, well, it's heartwarming. I think when you can start to feel that, you can feel how it benefits you. So anyhow, go ahead, Phoenixx.
It does. And on the note of how it benefits, one of the things that I have practiced is whenever I am in a challenging situation, I'm in any situation, as John mentioned, being aware of self. So, and it's good to have a practice so that when you encounter the inevitable challenges that that you're practiced, so that you have been training your brain, the neurons have been formed, so that when these situations occur, you don't wait for the situation to occur to then try to be grateful, because then it's a bit more challenging to do that. In addition to that, I would ask myself, how are you feeling right now? Okay. And it is practice as well. How are you feeling right now? I'm not feeling great about this. What is contributing to why you're feeling this way? Because of the way that I'm thinking about it. So then how can I begin to shift that? Because then what happens is I remind myself that I am creating my experience in that moment, which is a good thing, which means that I can create something else. So if in a particular situation, I'm experiencing this challenge, and my perception of that situation, which is what I'm using to create my reality, does not allow me to feel love and joy and gratitude and appreciation, it means therefore that what I'm creating is harming and it's not in alignment with what I want. So then in that moment, I'm able to, and it does not always happen. At least sometimes it takes a little while to ask the questions. And then I come to the place, okay, I can choose something. What is a low-hanging fruit right now? and I'll try to reach for that low hanging fruit, and then I'll reach for something else, and eventually, but as I
Yeah,
mentioned,
gradually, right.
it takes practice, so that we don't want to try it when the situations are upon us, but that we make it a lifestyle.
Yeah, yeah. And I think this might be a good time to go into the process, because I think that
Sure.
when we get to the mountaintop where we're going, then we can share from that perspective too.
Yes.
So first, I just want to mention that what we're talking about here is a normal aspect of our growth. And that is that we find that parts of us have become disconnected from the truth of who we are. And because of that, we end up in those lower vibrational places. And what we're doing is we're bringing those pieces of ourselves back gradually into our wholeness.
Yeah.
So in the process, it's to be expected that we'll be in those places, which you could say it's kind of like wallowing in the mud in some way with anger or frustration or stress or anxiety or confusion, whatever it is. You can just talking about it, you can feel, you can feel, if you say the words, it's like you're you're going downhill energetically, but it's a misunderstanding of truth.
Yeah.
And that's why it's not ever anything to be judged. It's just the human condition. That's what we're here to overcome. So if you just imagine, we can do this together now, can close your eyes for a moment and just notice what it feels like to be in that place. You may not have been in that place when you started here, but just for a moment, we all know what it's like to be confused or stressed or anxious or whatever it is, frustrated, angry. And it keeps us in a place, and then we're vibrating with all the other people who are in that place. And so we feed on each other. And it also is not a good place to try to resolve conflicts with other people, because you're just all in the mud. So the thing to do, and I do this with clients, they really love it usually, just start breathing lighter energy. And imagine yourself rising up out of that muddy place, just gradually, safely, beautifully rising up. And the mud can just start to kind of fall back down towards earth as you rise up higher. Just breathing in lighter energy as you go. And in this case, we're going to head toward a beautiful, lofty mountaintop. It's one of those high up mountaintops. It's so high that the whole world is around you. You can see a beautiful panoramic 360-degree view of the world, and it's magnificent. So we can imagine all rising up there, and we can join in a circle on top of the mountain, breathing that beautiful fresh air. And you might notice you feel different already. I feel my posture has changed. For one thing, you can always tell what's going on in your body because of the way your posture holds itself. And just breathing that fresh air and opening to the love we have in our hearts. Gratitude and love are good companions. And this is in the heart is where we find our truth. So we can just open to that and look out at how magnificent the world is, that sense of oneness that we get in nature, and especially in higher places or places with expansive views. It connects us with that oneness, with the truth of everything. And above us is a beautiful sun. It's shining down on us perfectly, the perfect light shining down. And that sun is our source, our creator, God, however you want to define that. But metaphorically, and this is true, has been true for me in sessions over many, many years, just inviting that light down, you're inviting light from source to raise your frequency even more. So you can just invite that light down and feel it flowing all around you and within you, filling all of the cells of your body with that beautiful light and love. We can also ask our source to send love and gratitude because they all go together. And just notice the difference. There are clients I have who love doing that. We talk about whatever the the challenge is, and then we go to the mountaintop, and from there we can get the truth. It just the metaphor rising up elevates your state, and of course then the panoramic view that is also expansive. It's just natural, and then the sun. It all just fits into a beautiful picture of truth. So I'm curious from this perspective, what do you notice, Phoenixx? I'm not hearing you right now. Oh, you're muted. That would explain it.
I muted. The doggies were making.
Yeah.
I'm actually experiencing everyone as their light bodies, and they without form but just their bodies, and source is above us. This almost like this ring light, and the energy is just flowing down, and we are all connected, and we are all our true selves, feeling that truth of who we are. That's what I'm experiencing.
That's beautiful. How about you, John?
Well, before you started, Jane, I was noticing some tension in my neck and a little bit of acidity building up in my, chest.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about a 4 or 5. And when we went to the mountaintop, I went to my favorite spot that I created when I was in class with.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, it was a vantage point.
Right.
Across over a valley, and it was just my place to go. And of course, the acidity and the tightness in my neck. It was pretty much about the frustration I was feeling about wondering if I was getting my point across on the show, and it's gone now because I just completely let it go.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the benefit of these kinds of processes. So that I'm in, just total gratitude of just sitting here in this chair and being with you guys. And it's nothing more than that. It doesn't have to be anything more than that. Whoever was here and understood what I had to say will get it. And who doesn't, whoever else, whoever wasn't here or doesn't understand, it may not be their time to understand. So
I think people understand.
I let all of that. I let all of that go, Jane, and that's part of being human. We want to deliver our best at all times, and sometimes we're not going to be able to do that, or we feel like we're not able to do that. Maybe that's our own perception at play. And I believe that was true for me, but I feel great.
Wonderful. Well, I'm delighted. I feel great too. And it's a wonderful thing that particular visualization. I think it's so simple, but it had metaphorically it actually works because there are images that are, you could say, archetypal to all of us, and we understand what that is, to rise up and to receive the light from source, even if it's not intellectually. Something in us energetically understands it, and certainly the heart understands it. And of course, what we're the goal here in the circle of love and light is to generate feelings of gratitude, feelings of love, to the point where we can be overflowing it to so much that we're just natural sources for others too of that. So I'm, and it's interesting in my meditations, Phoenixx and I talk about it a lot of times. I go up into higher places and I just keep saying, oh, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. And I can't help it because it's overflowing from me when I have a true recognition of who we are and what's available. All of these angels and masters and guides that are here for us. I mean, I think of the circle and I think, how many angels are here with us? Who knows? Hundreds, thousands. There's so much. We're so blessed. And if and it is true, I think, John, your point is so important. If you're not feeling that in the moment, there's a reason for it. And again, have compassion, rise up in whatever way you can. And like John said, if you can develop a special place where you go, because then that becomes like an anchor. You keep going back there, the mountaintop. And when I go to the mountaintop, I know where I am and I'm connected.
Yeah, I've often told many people, I said, guys, I know I preach EFT all the time, but I'm just trying to give you a little nugget here, a nugget of awareness. Hey, look, what are you truly feeling? Well, I feel pretty low right now. It's okay that you feel low. If saying a prayer to God, if you can visualize doing that, if you could rise to a mountaintop, if you could imagine hanging out with angels, use any of those resources you can.
Right.
Okay?
And tapping is good too, by the way. Tapping is energetically, it's an amazing thing.
It's the focus on the negative while the tapping is generating an energy flow. I just want everybody to know that's how simply it works. But the idea of it is that you can express whatever is true for you in the moment without judgment. Okay? And it's true. And that is what releases it, because you're not holding back. You're not resisting.
Right.
And when you finally release that resistance, you feel calm, relaxed, better. Oh, I don't have to hold on to that? No, you don't. No. You don't have to feel grateful when you're not. What is it that you're truly feeling? So be grateful that you can express your compassionate truth, is what I tell people.
Right. And that you even notice it. Because I think a lot of people are 95% unconscious. They're just out there, and things are really happening to them, not through them.
We're speaking about being mindful here, Jane,
right.
Phoenixx, yeah. Right? Just be mindful. What are you truly feeling? I don't know what made me think of this, but one of my clients is a therapist, and I believe this person came to me to get the spiritual side of things. Everything's connected. Okay. I didn't go to school and learn psychotherapy like you did. However, holistically, I can help you. I can help you. That's my baby. So I would give her the spiritual perspective of this, and learning to integrate all of this beautiful information that we learn is a beautiful thing, and practicing gratitude. And I say, look, if it's hard to be grateful, how did you get through your day yesterday? Well, I persevered. I says, can you be grateful for yourself and appreciate yourself? I said, you're practicing gratitude by doing that. What I'm saying, pick your favorite form of gratitude and go for it. Okay. It's like Baskin Robbins. How many flavors do they have, Jane?
Right. Yeah.
You know
And
what I mean?
another thing about that that's interesting is you don't have to be grateful for something huge. You can be
No.
grateful. I'm grateful I have my favorite pen in my hand. I'm grateful the two of you are here with me. I'm grateful I'm in a house that's comfortable and I have a great chair.
And Jane, when we're grateful for this pen and we could actually bring focus on that gratitude, our awareness has no room for anything else.
Right. Well, it's
So
just a vibration.
It's just it's
right.
just an energy, and we learn how to use it. Well, you know what? I could be miserable, or I could be thankful that I have this chair to sit my butt in right in this moment. And it's that simple. We're
Right.
not trying to make this very complicated, guys.
No, and you don't have to say, well, I'm grateful that I'm in debt, $5,000 or whatever it is. You don't, you could say, I'm grateful that my debt is going to be gone faster than I ever could have imagined.
Yeah.
It's one of the greatest tools for manifesting gratitude.
Can I offer something?
Yes,
On
please.
that same point? It's really a redirection of our focus and our attention.
Right.
What are we focusing on? So if we are focusing on let's just say the challenging situation, then, well, that's what we are expanding and experiencing more of, because it goes back to the fundamental truth that we are creators. We are creators and we are continuously creating our experience. So, okay, if I focus on this, and this for me is the easiest part of it, because if I'm focusing on this and it is causing me pain, do I want to continue feeling this pain? But then if I redirect my focus to something else that will help me to feel better, which is where the elixir of gratitude or the carrier of gratitude comes in, that I can just start with just something, just like Jade said, I'm so grateful for that pen. Just start with that and then continue building, because again, it's the mind. And when we take charge of the mind to redirect its focus by just saying, okay, I'm so grateful for this pen. And sometimes you're not truly grateful, but you're getting it started. I'm grateful for this pen. And then you keep going. I'm grateful for this crystal. I'm grateful for this mouse. And what I've found is that as you keep going, you're building a momentum. And then eventually you have to feel the vibration in your body. It just comes. And as I was saying it, I started to feel it in my body, because I'm just going in that direction. I've given my attention to something else. And while in the moment, again, you're not denying what you're feeling. So I do feel angry right now. However, I feel angry, and I can also appreciate that I have this mouse, because this mouse enables me to navigate the laptop. And let me see if I can reach for something else. And then over time, it just builds and it builds, because your brain is being guided to look at something else.
Right. Yeah, and you could be grateful while you're doing that you can breathe, or just breathing. It's interesting. One of my favorite 1-minute meditations is just slowing down whatever momentum you're in and breathing. And it's such a blessing to your body and everything. Then you can maybe breathe in a little gratitude, a little love, breathe in love from the universe.
Jane, it just came to my awareness that when I was strictly doing EFT with people, with tapping and going through our, the tapping sequence.
Right.
And I wasn't having these nice conversations like we're having. And I'm saying, hey, I'm gonna be a spiritual counselor now. So I could explain a little this to people, and they come away with an understanding of what is going on when you're doing the tapping, the visualization, the focusing on the breath, the gratitude exercise. And people, I think, I feel, are hungry for that. Well, tell me what could I do? Okay. And you
Right.
give them some suggestions. And strictly being an EFT practitioner, I wasn't incorporating that. And that's why I think discussions like this are very enlightening for people, because it gives them ideas. Well, I could adopt what Jane says. I could adopt what Phoenixx said. You know what? It's all good. Whatever works for you
Right.
is what I encourage people to do.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Whatever they can be grateful for. And I
Whatever.
think with EFT, by the way, to me, a lot of people, it's like, I'm looking for this anger to go from 9 to 0. And when it gets to 0, it's like, oh, okay, we're done. That was great. It's done. But actually, the key then is when it gets to 0, you're in that place of peace. And you can open your heart and then reflect on, okay, so from this perspective, what do I perceive? Because then you're on the mountaintop. Vibrationally, you've gone from to a different place. And the best part, I think, of EFT, it's like the frosting on the cake, is what kind of insights do I have? What coming from my heart and soul, coming from my own truth. And the truth is, each of us is a wonderful human being, and we're having this experience for a reason. And actually, and it's kind of a good time probably to be saying also that we're here together in the circle for a reason. Because if we can, and it all starts within, if we can generate more gratitude, more love, more joy, more light, and we can do that in this moment, just breathing in more and settling into the truth on the mountaintop, inviting our source to send down more of that beautiful love, and all the angels, if you believe, which I do, to support us. We then hold so much love. We want to share it with the world. And we become points of light, which is what we're envisioning in the circle. That we become points of light that become brighter and more numerous. And you can imagine that if you imagine the globe. I actually have a little, my friend Gerald Ann, she suggested you can get these little globes. So you can imagine, and you can hold the globe and send it love. You can also imagine all the points of light around the world. More points of light all the time. And all the points of light are becoming brighter and brighter, to the point where the whole world is surrounded with the vibration of love and light. And that's what we're aiming for. And then everybody else is going to be immersed in it, and they'll have to join in. Right? But I think these are great to have too. This is another really wonderful thing to keep around. Then you can just hold it anytime you want to send love to the world. And that's the best, if we can be part of creating a more loving world, we're doing something very special.
And I do believe that it's probably, I don't want to say misunderstood, but I don't think people realize that if you could stop for 5 seconds and send love to the world, we are so connected that you're literally sending it back to yourself.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So it's so easy, Jane. It's hard for people to imagine that a thought of love to the planet doesn't do any good.
Right. Or even just being a point of love in your neighborhood, in your community. I mean, who doesn't want to do something special for your community to make it a more loving place? just as
we are, I'm hoping that people that listen to this broadcast understand that we're beings of energy, that we are way more powerful than we think we are.
right. That's
And
true.
to use your power, to use your power for the light is by default what you're going to get back. I like to say, hey guys, we're always trying to work on our default vibration. What does that mean? Hey, we came
right.
here with the light. We learn fear. We learn how to judge. We learn all of those things. Okay. But we
Shut up.
came here by default. And there's an example.
He just came home. He
pure
loves
love.
being with us.
Animals, pure love. They don't know anything else. So they are examples for us, the pets.
Yeah.
Pure love and light. And again, when you're not feeling love and light, don't resist it. It's okay to say, I feel crappy right now. I don't know why. You know, Phoenixx, you brought up, you're able to, and this is the way you like to do it, and I commend you. When I ask why I feel this way, I get myself in trouble. I'm just telling people that's how I am. So I don't even go into why. You know what? Sometimes I wonder why. I wonder why I'm feeling this way today. Some people like to process that way and it helps them. Me, I got to stay away from why because it gets me in trouble. I say,
right.
even though I'm feeling crappy today and I don't know why, I still accept that that's true for me. And I want to tell everybody to play with EFT or self-compassion awareness in any
Or the
way.
mountaintop. Go
Or
to the mountaintop.
We have that reframing and anchoring exercise is really what we just did, right, Jane? In essence, we anchored something when we were in the on the mountaintop.
Right.
But we have, incidentally, that's where you learn all this stuff with Phil and Jane. And so we have so many different tools that we have at our disposal, at our as a resource. Angels. Oh my God, I could remember so many of the different resources that Phil and Jane used to point out that we have. And I part of my practice is angelic channeling. I channel Jesus, I channel angels. I give people, it kind of gives people, wait a minute, you got information coming to me from angels? I said, yeah, why? You're not worthy of that? And I try to help them understand everybody's worthy of the benevolence of the Creator. Okay. And all of the resources that are out there.
Right. We're getting toward the end of our time here.
So it goes quick. Like
I know it goes really fast. So I want to thank you both for your contributions and for having this wonderful time together. So John, would you like to tell people how they can find out more about you and what you do?
Guys, I'm on Facebook. If you, I say I'm a really good resource for people that are looking for the spiritual side of things. Hey, you could come and talk to me about anything, baseball, making mozzarella. I have something to offer in everything. However, if you feel stuck on your spiritual journey or your journey of life, okay, even as a business person, I can help you with that. I have a lot of different tools and resources that I help. That, you know, that's
did you have a place where they can go? We're getting toward the end of our time here.
Jane, right on Facebook, John Fiore, they find me right on my page and they could message me.
Wonderful, wonderful. How about you, Phoenixx? Would you like to tell people how they can find out more about you and your work?
Certainly. So on my website and Instagram. I am Phoenixx with 2 X's, rising.com. That's the website. And then the handle is I am Phoenixx Rising, 2 X's.
Right.
So yeah,
And
so I can be
Phoenixx on
found.
Facebook.
Right, Phoenixx, yeah, it's Phoenixx Rising on Facebook. It's
Right,
the same. Yeah, I am
yeah.
Phoenixx Rising. So
Right.
I can be found there. And I work
Wonderful.
with light workers to help them to awaken to their true self and their sacred mission so that they can thrive and make their biggest impact in the world.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you can also find out more about Awakenings Institute at gettingthrough.org, which is gettingthrough.org/holistic about all of our programs, or /awakenings if you want to know more specifically about Awakenings Institute. You can also learn more about the Circle of Love and Light and all of us who are here on the circle, the hosts, at circleofloveandlight.org. And we have some special gifts for people who sign up to be members of the circle, to be supporters of the love and light that we want to offer to the world. And finally, I want to say, wherever you are shining your light, you have our greatest gratitude for being here and adding your love and light to this gathering and to the world. So if you enjoy the circle, you can also help us to get the word out. And there are a couple things you can do. Well, the first thing you can do if you're on Facebook is like our page. We love that. You can also share the video with your friends. So we're doing this every Sunday at the same time. And you can also invite your friends personally to join you and to do it together. It's the more the merrier, we always say. So we hope you can also join us next week when we take this further into the possibilities that emerge when we open to more love and light. So have a wonderful week, and we hope we'll see you soon. And this is Buddy. He also hopes he'll
Sweet
see
Buddy.
you soon.
Hey, buddy.
Hi,
Many
Buddy.
blessings. Many blessings.
Thank you both.